Hi everyone. We're going to have a look in this video at a couple of specific examples of analysing structure in the National 5 close reading paper. Higher students, have a look at the other playlist. There's a specific one for higher in here as well. But let's have a look at a couple of National 5 examples, and I'll just show you, how I'd go about answering those questions to give you an idea of where we'd be going. So if you have a look at this first one here, you're directed to lines 21 to 27, and it's this question again about asking how the writer makes it clear that going to McDonald's would have seemed strange at that point. So we've looked at things before with this question for word choice. We looked at wacky for imagery. We looked at space age. But in this case, we need something to do with structure, with the way it's been written. So I think this is quite a good example to show you the three different stages. The example that I would take for this one is the parenthesis in lines 26 and 27. So that's the part from where it says, with its electronic ordering of goods via disembodied dialogue. That's parenthesis, which is an additional bit put into a sentence with more information. The easiest way to identify parenthesis tends to be where an author has used brackets in order to do it. And you can use dashes as well, and they're quite visually obvious, but actually if commas are being used in the same way, so if they're being used like brackets would to add something extra into a sentence that could be taken out and the sentence still makes sense, then that counts as parenthesis as well. So that's the structural device that's been used. What's the effect of it? Well, the effect of it, I would argue, is that it lets the writer sort of go from this thing about, space age and give us some more information about it to elaborate on that idea of it being space age. And the effect of that is then to emphasize how strange, and I suppose how space age, how futuristic the experience would seem to people. So it's the actual use of that parenthesis as like the wee bit of extra information to say, like, we've said it's a space age drive through. We then get a little bit of information almost kind of justifying that space age imagery by telling us, electronically ordering goods and the dialogue coming out the wee speaker. So that's how structure's being used there within a sentence. But there are other ways it's used as well, and actually this is last year's paper, and this has got quite a good example. It's not got a question on it, but it's got quite a good example from the start. So here's the opening paragraph of that text. Now there isn't a question here about structure, but there could easily have been. There are several things going on. You've got the familiar, disposable, repeatable. You've got the dash being used actually. Now that I look at it, been used to introduce a point, and the same thing happening before that. So you've got a repeated structure there. Quite a lot going on. But the easiest thing, the most obvious one, is probably those questions. And that's the one I'd have gone for. There's a pair of rhetorical questions at the end of the opening paragraph. Why? Why does the author put them in as questions? Why does the author choose to do that after the first paragraph that the reader sees? Well, because the effect on the reader of the opening paragraph starting with these questions is that it's sort of like it defines the terms on which the reader is then going to read the rest of the article. It's not dissimilar to what I've been saying about your critical essays and the introduction sort of taking control of the essay a little bit. Sort of the same thing here. So by ending in that paragraph with those two rhetorical questions, it means that the author is able to get us to focus on the aspect of the development of McDonald's that the author wants us to focus on, the bit they're going to concentrate on. It just means that then the author hopes to hold our attention all the way through, and it should make an article more convincing as well, because, as I say, kind of setting the terms of reference, I suppose, right from the start. So there's a couple of National 5 examples. Obviously, there are lots and lots of different things that you can analyse for structure, so it's not going to be practical to make a video, I don't think, for every single variant of that, but we'll do plenty of work on it in the classes through the course of the year. And if you have any issues, then do let me know, and I'll do what I can to help you. Thanks.